Hello guys, Davison here. This might take a while, so I'm shooting it with my webcam instead of my DSLR, which might cut off. I am going to read to you one of my favorite books, The 7 Lively Sins by Karen Salamson. Now, this book was published in, I think, 2002, and it's pretty much just a positive life advice book, turning the 7 deadly sins on their head and talking about the positive aspects of what's considered forbidden emotions or forbidden states. So I'll just go ahead and read it to you. I think it's probably going to take about 20 minutes to a half an hour to read because there's like a lot of pictures. So I'll hold up the pictures to you, kind of like mama's telling you a story. And you can let me know in the comment section what you think and what your favorite passage was. I've just always found this helpful whenever I get overly worried about things because I have a tendency to sometimes agonize about things, like worry that things are going to be worse than they are. And then, then there's like the negative cycle. Then you might make things worse than they are if you don't maintain a positive mind frame. But I think overall, I'm a very, very positive, proactive, loving, caring person. But I mean, like anyone, sometimes I'm insecure, sometimes I'm anxious, sometimes I misspeak. But this book helps me with that. And it also helps me to connect with my inner badass and really stick up for myself, because that's what we should all do. Don't let yourself be a doormat. So without further ado, the 7 lively sins. So and by the way, this looks like it's a mirror, so I hope that when I upload this is facing the right eye. If not, well, you're going to get everything backwards. You. Silly you. You used to be known amongst your friends as the great entertainer. You loved to entertain everyone with your amusing stories of disappointment, pain, woes, conflict, loss, and miffedness. And everyone laughed, ha ha ha, and begged you to tell them yet another funny, sad, bittersweet plot development in that movie for one called your life. During that time, you even felt convinced that your life needed disappointment, pain, woes, conflict, miffedness in order to be interesting. And of course, you wanted your life to be interesting. Who wouldn't? The answer is 5,678,389,261 people in China. That's who, give or take 456 million. You forget how many people live in China exactly. In China, you've been told, they use the word interesting as a curse. And I've cursed people this way sometimes. May you live in interesting times, the Chinese people tell a person they want to punish. Which confused you. You wanted your life to be interesting, not a punishment. Or did you? It was then you wondered, did you on some secret level want to punish yourself? Did you on some secret level feel guilty about attaining too much pleasure, too much enjoyment, too much glee? You thought about this deeply, and that's when you realized, clunk, you're silly you. It's silly to feel bad when you start to feel good. That's when you realized. Life lesson number 1. So there's going to be a bunch of these. You've got to stop with the entertainment already. You deserve pleasure, happiness, glee, victory, joy, ardor, devotion, commitment, harmony, balance, and comfort. All of these things can be interesting and entertaining without all the entertainment options. Lots of people enjoy stories with happy endings. And damn it, it's time you became one of these lots. It's good to feel good about feeling good, even when it comes to your love life. Especially when it comes to your love life. That's when you also realize love minus pain doesn't equal plain old like. Love can indeed come in a pain-free formula. Sadly, you didn't always know this. You used to joke, I relate to those feisty Europeans who use the word passion and suffering interchangeably. You used to joke, if there is such a thing as life on other planets, then the way we'll be able to tell if they're more advanced than us is not by asking to see their technology, but by asking if they have dating. And if they don't, they're clearly a more evolved species. Yes, You were quite the kidder, except you were never quite sure if you were kidding. Yes, at this lowly point in your life, you no longer believed in attraction. In fact, you thought it should be renamed subtraction because it had too many minuses. Yes, you doubted lust could last. Not only did you believe lust died, you thought it was deadly, a deadly sin. Yes, you were a silly you. Thankfully, you're not so silly anymore. Life lesson number 3. Just because someone is a cause for lust does not make them a lost cause. Lusting can bring lots of everlasting love. You can be lovable without being leavable. Lust is not a foe, nor a fraud. Which brings you to life lesson number 4. Lusting does not deserve its listing as the 7th most deadly sins of the world. Lust is even quite lively. It helps your spirit to feel quite alive. When you act on lust, you are acting on spiritual principles, because lust is an expression of wanting to connect, to express strong love, which is what the spirit is about. Lust is about being fearless, curious, aware, and present. Kind of like these bra straps right there. Or is that a harness? I don't know. It's sexy, whatever it is. Life lesson number 5. Lust, ding, 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 scores big time bonus points by revitalizing you with the number 1 spirit enlivener, mindfulness. You fully know and understand what lust is, but alas, you aren't quite so sure what mindfulness is. Mindfulness, a spirit enlivening practice in which you empty your ego mind of its static so you can better hear what your authentic spirit self is telling you beneath that ego mental ruckus. Note, insert mischievous snicker here. Note 2, maybe if you want to add your own description here. Mindfulness, though seemingly not sexy, shares principles in common with lustful sex. You understand this further when you consider a little sexual metaphor, a little metaphor play, so to speak. So here's a little metaphor play, so to speak, in a box. Sex is just a sweaty form of meditation. Think about it. The best lustful sex is being in the moment, not obsessing about the past or the future, or if your thighs look fat in a particular position. And this means that orgasm is not the one and only big lure of lustful sex. A less obvious secondary benefit is that feeling of supreme peace that comes after sex. And this peacefulness isn't entirely due to reaching orgasm, but also due to reaching one's metaphysical spirit by being fully in the metaphysical moment. So when we feel good after lustful sex, it's partially because we've emptied our cluttered brain of its chattering. Yes, lust is liberating on so many levels. So much so, it comes with a warning. Oh my God, look at that warning. That's a crazy warning right there. Life lesson number 6. Lust has a non-usage warning. If you don't express or act upon feelings of strong lust, you can make your spirit weak, even kill your spirit. So you must let yourself get lost in lust. Life lesson number 7. If lust is enlivening and not deadly, perhaps you should rethink the rest of the deadly sin gang. Greed, anger, pride, sloth, envy, and gluttony. So you think about it, and you have a vice reversa retraction or reaction. You realize, for the same reasons that lust is a spirit enlivener, so are all of the rest of those reputedly deadly other guys. Which brings you to life lesson number 8. What's so deadly about greed? Greed is about hopefulness for grabbing more out of life, an abundance mentality, an opulence not only of mind but of heart and spirit, a drive for self-creating, a way to express self-love and to give to others, all of which is no deadly sin, right? Yes, greed is a major spirit enlivener. There's Benjamin Franklin. Helping you to believe and pursue an endless flow of what you hanker for. Sure, in the end, greed can also bring wads of cash, but hey, is it so bad to surround yourself with beautiful things? Doesn't this show self-love, which your spirit supports? Plus, Wads of cash can support loved ones. Another pro-spirit endeavor. Major key. Costs money to buy things, as DJ Khaled said. Get that money. Want that money. Accept that money. You deserve that money. Life lesson number 9. You believe in something called abundance mentality, an expansive outlook that puts forth that there's plenty to go around. We should all be open to sharing the wealth and serving as an inspiration for others to garner wealth. We should all be thinking largely and liberally. All of this reminds you of a kind of corny story. Did you know that there was a farmer who had great ears? Each year, his yummy yellow corn won blue ribbons in corn competitions. When asked his secret by a journalist, this farmer replied, "I share my corn seed with all my neighbors." The journalist, baffled, said, "What?" The farmer smiled and explained, "It's like this. The wind picks up the pollen from ripening corn and cross-pollinates it from field to field. If my neighbors grow inferior corn, that lowers the quality of my corn, meaning if I want to greedily grow the best corn ever, I must help my neighbors grow their best corn too." You know the eternal kernel of wisdom in this story. We're all connected. What's good for you is good for everyone. If you live with an abundance mentality, then you will indirectly, as well as oftentimes directly, help others to live with abundance too. Life lesson number 10, numero 10. What's so deadly about anger? Anger is all about feral energy that impels change, not only in one's personal sphere, but in the world at large. It's a simulator for productivity, an energizing spirit booster that helps you to actuate your deepest life purpose. No deadly sin in any of that. Like, look at how angry I got in my most recent video. That's because I couldn't take it anymore, and it was bad for my spirit to stay in a situation that I was unhappy with on so many levels that I was in denial about or just tried to manage. And it was the force of my anger that was a good indicator that it was time for me to change forever. So, back to the book. Yes, anger is a force that awakens your spirit to action, creates a ferocious energy that can be channeled into demigod abilities to follow your spirit's truth and create a path to higher self-evolution. I love this part of the book. When you think about it, some of the best periods in your life have been what you call post-fuck-its. Fuck it. Yes, sometimes you have to reach fuck this to get to post-fuck this, which is better than fuck this. This is always a time of positive change and growth when you finally realize you're mad as hell and you're not gonna take it anymore because you now clunk. See, life lesson number 11. It's better to be pissed off than to be pissed on. It's better to speak up than be trampled down. It's better to fight the good fight than to be a goody-goody non-fighter who's bending over backwards and not moving forward. Sadly, you believe women in particular have trouble wisely wielding anger, and when women do, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, especially a scorned woman in spiky stilettos who is now motivated to kick a few cracks in the glass ceiling. All of this reminds you of yet another story. A deaf story about a blind date. Your buddy David wanted to fix you up with his buddy Steve. After he got done describing Steve to you, you asked David how he described you. "I told him you were a victim," David said. "What did you say?" you asked. "I said you were a vixen," David repeated. Is that bad?" No, not at all," said you. In other words, vixen equals good, victim equals bad. In other words, anger properly channeled and released can be a powerful anger properly challenged. No. Interesting, I keep messing up at this passage. Anger properly channeled and released can be a powerful force to a more fulfilling life, which is where I'm at right now, babies. more fulfilling, no more bullshit, no more pretending that I don't want a YouTuber boyfriend, that I don't want someone that I'm actually having good sex with, that I don't have the rest of my life to do the things that I've always fucking wanted. I've always wanted to find the right person, but also have the greatest life possible. I mean, actually, I feel like in terms of like accomplishments, I feel like I have made a good life for myself. I'm doing exactly what I want to do professionally. I don't feel inadequate in that sphere. I feel like I'm a good parent too, but I do feel like my relationships, they haven't been awful, but I was living in a relationship that was not my relationship that I wanted to be in. And I'm at the point where, like, you know, I have higher standards for myself, and I'm happy that I reached that point. I really am. So anyhow, which brings you to an important anti-corollary. Life lesson number 12, or by the way, we're halfway down the book. Unreleased anger can be very deadly. You end up fuming, giving off noxious anger, smoke that can be smelled a mile away, and so people stay clear of you. Plus, you end up getting your spirit all hot under the collar. Yes, burning anger can be unsafe for both you and those around you if it's not wisely released. 2 more burning anger warnings. 1, burning anger is not released, uses up a lot of energy that could serve you better elsewhere. Burning anger not released also garners you less, not more respect, because you wind up being viewed as someone who doesn't, tisk tisk, stand up for your rights. Life lesson number 13. Anger is not only a major spirit enlivener in a one-on-one itty-bitty individual destiny level, but in the grand scheme of grand groups. Yep, anger has encouraged major civilizations and entire minority groups to actuate the proactive, pro-liberation changes they've been protesting for. Unless you challenge what currently exists that is improper, you will never, ever, ever improve for the better. And that's my thought. Takes that anger. The anger is just energy. It's passion. It's a productive energy if you're using it right, instead of just using it to lash out at things, right? Life lesson number 14. What's so deadly about pride? Pride is all about self-love, self-respect, a deserved self-reward for a job well done. None of which is so deadly now, is it? Heck, if you don't allow yourself to feel pride, you miss out on appreciating life, fully witnessing the rewards of your inspiring, perspiring, aspiring efforts. All of this reminds you of something Colette, the famous writer, once said. What a wonderful life I've had. If only I would have realized it sooner. Plus, it reminds you of something Karen, a not yet quite famous writer, once said. Acknowledges power. Karen's the author of the book. Life lesson number 15. You need to give yourself an acknowledge education. Teach yourself how to acknowledge all the good you've brought into your life. Focus on what you've got and flaunt it, baby. When you think about this, you think about something the highly quotable Balthazar Gracian once said. When you have both talent and a talent for displaying your gift, the result is something prodigious. You believe what Balthazar was promoting applies to promoting you. You must be your own PR agent, because creating commotion is creating promotion. Life lesson number 16. What's so deadly about sloth? Sloths are cute. No, sloth meaning the act of being laziness. Paresseux. Okay, so what is so deadly about sloth? Sloth is all about the path to rejuvenation, self-responsiveness, self-compassion, the pursuit of peace and relaxation. No deadly sin in any of that. When you think about sloth, you think about that Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon. You feel sorry for that damn coyote. If only the coyote had realized the virtue of sloth, taken a short, refreshing nap, he might have perked up and figured out how to catch that Roadrunner. You too have in the past felt like that foolish coyote, all caught up in today's fast motion, high commotion world, and this prevented you from heading in the right direction because you were heading in too many directions. When you welcome sloth into your life, you welcome slowing down, letting loose, and relaxing. you find you gain clarity and make better life choices and get a better life, like, taking a trip somewhere like here. Milton and Churchill, two big-time go-getters, are also two big-time stop-getters, two big-time spokespeople for sloth. Milton wrote Paradise Lost while in bed. Ditto with Winston, who wrote these big, bulky histories while supine, brandishing a bottle of brandy to ease his writer's cramps. No, he's probably an alcoholic. I think he was an alcoholic, but whatever. I'm a coffeeholic. Yes, it's ironic, but sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. Stop completely to go speedily steamrolling ahead. Life lesson number 17. You must learn to not only be proactive, but pro-inactive. Our culture needs to learn this a lot because all we do is like work, try hard. No, sometimes you got to chill. Then you get the creative juices flowing. Then you can have some of that lustful sex we've all been talking about. So you must learn to be pro-inactive as well. You must learn to recognize when it's time to be still, lie in bed, and do nothing. And really do nothing. You don't have to lie in bed and write a book like Paradise Lost. You can lie in bed and get lost in your own paradise. Workaholism can be as toxic to your spirit as alcoholism. Well, trust me, I know how fucking toxic alcoholism is to your spirit. If you're working, not because I was an alcoholic, if you're working hard to achieve success, but don't have time to relax and enjoy your success, well, then you have no success. Meaning, life lesson number 18. Exhaustion is not to be confused for calm. Only purposeful calm counts as calm. With this in mind, you must stop your busy mind and schedule. Take a deep breath and give yourself 10 to 20-minute breathers at various intervals throughout the day, or else, doesn't take much of a sloth to deduce that lack of sloth actually means lack of energy. Complete slothlessness equals complete deadliness. Working yourself to death, that exists in certain cultures. Yes. Sloth can be very enlivening to the spirit. So, life lesson number 19. What's so deadly about envy? Envy is a truth barometer for recognizing one's deepest desires, a zeal that creates a drive for improvement. No deadly sin in any of that, right? Envy awakens your spirit to perk up the lies your ego and upbringing have been whispering in your spirit-deaf ears about what you really want. Envy gives you the chance to find out what you truly and youly want. Life lesson number 20. When you're around people who have less, you tend to strive for less. When you're around people who have what you crave, your spirit gets enlivened to find ways to hanker down and get more of what you crave. When you think about this, you're reminded of an analogy. An analogy in a box, like a dick in a box. Whenever you play tennis with people who are better than you, you improve your game. Well, playing life with people who are better at playing life than you can also improve your game. When you think about this, you are reminded of a little something old what the frick name is that? You're reminded of a little something old Bertolt Brecht once said. Do not fear death. Fear the inadequate life. Bertie was right. You must get out there and get what you want. Get out there, tiger. Rawr. Oh, and by the way, this is a zebra. Isn't this a zebra stripes, not tiger stripes? I don't know. Anyhow, whatever. Publisher. This is sort of very early internet. So they didn't have easy access to images. No, that's not true. Oh, while the getting is good, you must also be good and aware of how people might envy what good you got and encourage their inner tiger to go get it too. That's what I do. I like to inspire other people. I'm not one of those people that takes delight in other people's suffering. And if I see someone who's more successful than me, I want them to succeed more, and I use them as something inspirational. And if I am sort of envious of their successes, I just take it as a barometer of what I really want, which is what they said earlier in the book. So, life lesson number 21. What's so deadly about gluttony? Gluttony is all about a generosity of spirit, a positive outlook of plenty and bounty, a passion for all life has to offer. Nothing deadly there, now is there? Gluttony feeds your spirit with new experiences that have never been tried before, and some that have never been fried before. French fries. French fries are a major spirit enlivener. In fact, you're suspicious of people who don't like French fries. And puppies. Yes, French fries and puppies are two of the world's most spirit enlivening treats. You didn't always feel this way, at least about French fries. You used to view French fries as the enemy. Yes, food to you was once simply a source of vitamins and minerals, not a source of pleasure and fun. You used to view eating bad foods as showing bad character. You used to be one of the millions of the diet-obsessed people who contributed to the $40 billion spent on dieting each year. Not anymore. Now, carbo is no longer a 4-letter word, and you know how to spell dessert, which is with its full 7 letters. It's dessert, not desert. Dessert is the one with 2 S's because you always want 2. And well, sometimes you now do have 2. What the hell? Brillat Savarin, a French gastronome of the late 18th, early 19th century, once said, "Tell me what you eat, and I shall show you who you are." You know now, a person who shows a love for pleasurable foods is simultaneously revealing a love for a pleasurable life. Life lesson 22. Gluttony is an attitude that's all about living life to its filled to the brim, brimming over fullest. Gluttony is pro non-norm, non-status quo, pro non-self-withholding, pro you growing, and not just growing to a bigger pant size, growing to a bigger spirit size. Gluttony can be about shoes as much as shoe fly pie, or one can be gluttonous for flowers, laughter, knowledge, creativity, travel. You want to taste it all in your gloriously gluttonous life. Like, again, DJ Khaled, bless the flowers, bless you, surround yourself with beauty. Life lesson number 23. Similarly to lust, gluttony for one thing stops you in time, stops you thinking about the past or the future, and keeps you alert to being fully present in the moment. You believe Mae West spoke for the spirit as spirit incarnate when she said, "Too much of a good thing is wonderful." Yes, Mae had a point, a wonderful point. Gluttony is the spirit's way of showing a gluttony of spirit, a gluttony for fun. So how did gluttony get such a bad rap? Ditto for lust, greed, anger, pride, sloth, and envy. Who's been spreading these evil rumors? Yes, it seems you're not only the silly you out there who's brought... Yes, it seems like you're not the only silly you out there who's bought into all of this. Sorry, not brought into all of this, but I guess we're brought into it as well. Life lesson number 24. The 7 deadly sins were set up to take the fall because there are really 7 other deadly sins who framed them all. So this is the flip side of the book. Yes, call CNN, call America's Most Wanted, call Court TV. I see this is very pre-internet. It's not, don't call BuzzFeed. The time has come to capture, accuse, and bring to trial the true 7 deadly sins responsible for creating all the lethal, spirit-sapping and zapping in this world. These 7 baddies are, pay attention to this part, emotional masochism, guilt, fear, repression of self-expression, the need for speed, worry, and apathy. Boo hiss on these bad guys. These 7 spirit killers have been bad-mouthing those 7 spirit enliveners for years, but now the time has come to come clean with the truth. The bad-mouthing removal formula. Life lesson number 25. You've got to make sure emotional masochism doesn't stop you from seeking the pleasure you deserve. But first you must seek the definition of emotional masochism. And so you do. The definition of emotional masochism. Psychologists explain it as an instinctive universal self-sabotage syndrome we learnt in childhood. As children, we grow up learning joy from our parents. If children learn joy in a joyless home, then as adults, too much joy can inspire anxiety and the instinct to sabotage happiness in order to maintain one's learned, familiar, masochistic equilibrium. You describe it like this. It's as if each of us grew up feeling comfortable with a certain quantity of happiness. Some of us are used to 90%, while others only 75%, and others even less at 17%. Whatever it is, the point is that when this concentration shifts, even if it's upward, and especially if it's upward, then a lot of us start to feel twitchy because this new zone feels so unfamiliar. And so we instinctively do what we must to muck up our love or career lives so we can shift our happiness concentration back to our familiar childhood comfort, or rather discomfort zone. When you think about this, you clearly see how emotional masochism has masochistically been keeping you from getting the higher level of ever so spirit enlivening emotional love that you want, ahem, lust. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from enjoying the higher level of ever so gratifying abundance you want, greed. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from enjoying the ever so yummy sensory stimulation you want, gluttony. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from enjoying the ever so rejuvenating, relaxing vice of sloth, which is the lifestyle that you want. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from recognizing your truest desires and being inspired to attain them, envy. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from feeling okay about expressing and not repressing your ever so honest needs, anger. Emotional masochism has been masochistically keeping you from reveling in whatever positive things you've managed to wrangle from the universe, pride. Yes, 7 times emotional masochism has been stopping you from enjoying your life, which means you are you're your biggest critic, you're your biggest impediment, and your childhood needs to be processed and dealt with and analyzed and then liberated. And then you need to think of happiness only in terms of the maximum you can get instead of the things you were conditioned to expect. Life lesson number 26. Guilt has also been preventing you from enjoying your life, damn it. You once read In the Pursuit of Pleasure by Lionel Tiger, pleasure and its availability loom as a resource a lot like wealth. And like wealth, it's attributed, or rather distributed to different groups in different amounts. When you read this, you thought, women as a group has historically been allotted not such a lot of pleasure. In fact, women are very much made to feel guilty for indulging in too much food, sex, money, power, and fame. And you've noticed how women who guiltlessly do ask for more and guiltlessly confront having gotten less are called bitches. Tisk, tisk. And it's funny how we have expressions like, I feel so happy, I can't stand it, or it's too much, or I could die. And expressions like everything in moderation and less is more, all suggesting more equals more guilt. And then there's no pain, no gain, which also suggests there will be hell to pay for too much heaven. I love heaven. I like beautiful, positive, amazing things. All of this reminds me of something Ayn Rand once said. The achievement of his own happiness is man's highest moral purpose, meaning it's your moral duty to eat that decadent candy on occasion. Eat the candy. Take the candy. Guilt sucks. You shouldn't feel guilty for having it all. It's your moral prerogative to have it all and to be happy about it, baby. It's time to give up those voices of self-conflict about pleasure. After all, when you let yourself feel good, you feel better about yourself and about life, and thereby are more open for love, intimacy, and connection. I love me, gotta love myself, don't need nobody else. How does that song go? Gotta love myself, I don't need anybody else that love me. Okay, so life lesson number 27. When you feel good, you're more likely to show goodwill. Yes, you have more to give others when you allow yourself to guiltlessly give to yourself, meaning the pursuit of pleasure is not entirely a selfish act, but a benefit to society. Woohoo! Life lesson number 28. Fear has also been preventing you from enjoying your life, damn it. Helen Keller said it out loud and clear when she said, avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. The fearful are caught as often as the bold. And so you realize you must develop this Keller instinct towards fear. You must have courage, and there's courage in Braille. And you know what you are instinctively afraid of. The same 3 things everyone on this planet is instinctively afraid of. 1, anything new. 2, anything more. 3, anything different. Ironically, the only way to grow and achieve greater happiness is to 1, attain anything new. 2, attain anything more. 3, attain anything different. You've read how the verb to tempt comes from the Latin word meaning to stretch, like an elastic. Knowing this makes you smile because you now realize that whenever you are lured into a new pleasure that tempts you in some way, you are simultaneously stretching yourself in some new way. Oh, that's cute. I like that. This should be the thumbnail. I like this. Okay. Yes, a new lover stretches you. Not only in body, getting you maybe to stretch your limbs in ways you never thought possible. Can a leg really go up there? You never thought a leg could go up there before. That's really funny. But a new lover also gets you to stretch your heart and spirit in new ways. Can your heart really rise up that high? Geez, you never thought a heart could go that high before. Nah, I always think that it can. And my leg can also go up that high. I should work at getting it around my neck. All this reminds you of a little old ditty from a nice nin. I said this the other day and I didn't realize that I had stolen it from a nice nin. One's life shrinks or expands according to one's courage. So if you want an extra large life with extra large spirit expanding pleasure, you first and foremost need extra large courage. Life lesson number 29. Okay. See, this is how much is done. This is how much is left, but it's worth listening to. Repression of self-expression has been preventing you from enjoying your life, damn it! The good news is you have a say in what you get out of your life. If you say what you want. The bad news is you must say what you want out loud, which is what I've done today. Meaning, it's better to say the difficult stuff now rather than try to fix difficult problems later. Yes, time after time, you've witnessed how the quality of your communication equals the quality of your life. What you don't ask for, you don't fucking get, man. And although you often might feel that the people in your life are from another planet, unfortunately, they are not the Vulcan breed that can read your mind. If you want to be heard and understood, you must speakest thyself up. Life lesson number 30. The need for speed has been preventing you from enjoying most of your life, damn it. Stop. There was a silly time when you were still you, when you thought that movement was for forward motion and that you thought that you were simply spinning your wheels when you weren't moving forward. And in this effort to keep moving, you were sadly digging yourself further and further into the ground and getting stuck in problem grooves instead of moving forward. Sometimes you have to slow down to move forward. The longest distance between 2 points is reached by rushing. You gotta relax, damn it! You gotta pour yourself some bubbly while soaking in something bubbly, and soon you'll feel more bubbly and have the energy and clarity to figure out how to get what you want. All of this reminds you of a story in Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that you'll summarize now in your own words. Seeing the saw. There was this guy number 1, who was sawing down a tree with a very long but dull saw, and so it was taking him a very long time. His friend, Guy 2, tried to get him to stop sawing and sharpen his saw. Guy 1 declined, saying, I can't take the time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing the tree. Sadly, Guy 1 did not see what Guy 2 saw. You gotta slow down and sharpen the saw if something's not working. Don't keep repeating the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Slow down, stop, evaluate. Basically, it's like this. There are 2 reasons for doing anything. 1, the right reason. 2, the reason that is motivated by speed. And there are 2 reasons for choosing the second reason. 1, a need for control. 2, feelings of doubt and insecurity. In other words, and this is so... I'm sorry. Okay. Cry break. Okay. In other words, you got to learn to let go and trust yourself and the universe. All this reminds you of something Sir Isaac Newton once said: "If I have done the public any service, it is due to patient thought." You must be patient with your mind and stop bullying your neurons and allow them to lounge around a bit. Sip some chamomile tea, put their little neuron feet up on little neuron-sized footstools, and release an tiny neuron-sized sigh of relief. And then you'll find that your neurons will find whatever thoughts you've been trying to wrestle from their grasp and even give them up to you without any tussle at all. All of this reminds you of something Milan Kundera. I haven't read any of these writers, by the way. I maybe should. Maybe I need to read some more philosophy. Once wrote in his book, Slowness. A little bit of slowness quickly. In his book, Kundera explains how we live in a speeded-up culture, and this need for speed promotes forgetting. He explained that how a person wants to forget something, he will pick up speed walking down the street. If a person wants to remember something, he'll slow down his steps. And speeding up in general makes a person not only forget specific things, but basic values and ideals for how to live an enjoyable, rewarding, passion-filled life. So, when you see people walking really quickly down the street, they are literally running from themselves. Life lesson number 31. Worry has been preventing you from enjoying your life, damn it. Unfortunately, we live in a world full of uncertainty. And unfortunately, when you stop to think about it, if you have time to stop, and you're not too stressed to stop, and if you are too stressed, you should definitely stop. So stop! Anyway, you realize that that is a synonym for sorts of... Whoa, this is a complicated passage. She's very wordy sometimes. Anyways, you realize that a synonym of sorts for uncertainty is stress. And even more unfortunately, as a human, you almost find yourself... unfortunately, as a human, you often find yourself uncertain and thereby certainly stressed when you should be living right here and comfortably in your present. Which reminds you of something that the righteous babe Anne Magnuson once said: when you have one foot on your past and one foot in your future, you wind up peeing all over your present. In other words, be here now. Don't pee here now. But speaking of your past, there was a time way back when you were a silly you, when you confused worry for preparation. But now you know better. Now you know worry is a hazardous time waste material. Worry gets annoying, blurring, distracting, toxic thought dust all over your finest hours. Worry not only distracts, it attracts. It winds up veering you right smack into the very thing you worried about smacking into. Which reminds you of a good analogy. A good analogy in a box. Race car drivers know that you should never look at that wall you fear squishing your nice, shiny race car into, because wherever you're looking at is where you will end up. So you should keep your eye only on the places that you want to be and go. Life lesson number 32. Apathy has also been preventing you from enjoying your life, damn it. When you think about this book, you think about a famous Ralph Emerson quote: "Nothing was ever achieved without enthusiasm and lots of double frappuccinos." Something like that. Actually, he said, Emerson was alive before Starbucks. So what Emerson had to depend upon instead of Starbucks, because there was no Starbucks, was solely on his enthusiasm as his one and only guiding gusto. And you too must very much depend on enthusiasm to get the life you want. Yes, there was a life before Starbucks. Yes, you must not sit around all complacent and wait for an exceptional life to just find you. Taking no action is an action. If you are doing nothing to move your life forward, you are still doing something by making the decision to remain in the same place. So indirectly, inaction is an action. You must act or be acted upon. You must pick up that bat and really start swinging and be ready to run. And if you're going to swing, you must swing hard. And if you're going to run, you must run hard. And if you're going to want to steal second, then you can't lull around first base forever. You must move your tush, damn it. Fortunately, you know where this frozen tush, inapathy, inaction stuff comes from. 1, fear of failure. 2, fear of success. Only you're not sure which one you're more afraid of. But you do know that either way, with either fear, there's a two-tiered solution to achieving what you want. 1, you must believe in your abilities. 2, you must believe in your worthiness. Life lesson number 33. It's not enough to mildly want what you want. You must wildly want what you want. No one ever got their greatest wishes by remaining wishy-washy. There are no wishy-washy CEOs, no wishy-washy astronauts, and no wishy-washy rock stars. The universe rewards the decisive. The universe rewards the enthusiastic. The greater your decisiveness, the greater your enthusiasm. The greater your luck in getting what you want. And you know, that is what you want. A good spirit enlivener. The good stuff that all those 7 spirit enliveners can bring you. Life lesson number 34. Repeat, oh sinner. Oh, sorry, my nose. From the cry break before. I gotta have the nose to sleeve break. Life lesson number 34. Repent, oh sinner, for the sin of not sinning in lust, greed, anger, pride, sloth, envy, gluttony. Release your emotional masochism, guilt, fear, repression of self-expression, need for speed, worry, and apathy, and enliven your life. I don't know why this book is here. Consider the following examples. Following with life lesson number 35. You need to enliven your life with more lust. You must merely take your spirit to lust and find as much lust as you can to fill your life. Bedroom, kitchen, hallway, shower. Yes, you must sure that you take more hot showers that you share with a loved one than cold showers that you retreat to alone. And at bedtime, if you're having trouble sleeping, it's always nice to hear a good NC-17 bedtime story told to you by your loved one to help you sleep, or better yet, as a reason to stay awake. Wink, wink. And when you wink, wink, do stay awake, she means have sex, because apparently she doesn't want to say the word sex. You must stay fully awake and not sleep through your emotions and emotions, so you can truly connect. You must consciously decide to be fully aware of all your sensual senses, sensing what they sense, fully seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, feeling, and also eeling for your paramour. I think I do that. I don't think I have any problems accepting good sex. You must consciously decide to be 100% mindfully and bodily present in lust. Life lesson number 36. You need to enliven your life with more greed. You must let go of any negative associations you have towards money and watch it zoom towards you. And as the money zooms in, remember, you must not only have a balanced checkbook, but a balanced life of spending and investing both your money and your lifestyle enjoyment. It should be both increasing simultaneously. Invest in both mutual funds, go see your broker, or you could do it yourself, right? Oh, and mutual funds, see your travel agent, and book a trip to Hawaii with your paramour. Also, remember, we live in a world of abundance. There's plenty to go around. So let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Don't give a shit anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're... Okay, whatever. Remember, we live in a world of abundance. And it will go around and back to you. Yes, money has major karmic boomerang benefits, so be sure to give a little something to your favorite charity each year. That's what I do. I sometimes give away clothes to the Salvation Army, and I've always found that whenever I do, something good happens afterwards. Is that Bunny? Oh, sorry, my bunny was making some noise. I should do that. That'll probably make me feel better. Also, remember, we live in a world of abundance. There's plenty to go... Oh, I just read that. Life lesson number 37. You need to enliven your life with more anger. Actually, I don't want more anger. I'm kind of done with it, but that's fine. Aggression is better than repression. Maybe I just need to repress myself less. But I really don't think I repress myself that much. I don't. When anger is properly channeled, it's a force to be reckoned with to accomplish your goals. So write that letter to your local congressman or congresswoman or congressperson, gender, about what you want to see change within your community, and then mail it ASAP, and write that speech about your boss, about how you've had it with that chump change you've been getting paid, and then memorize your speech and raise the issue of your raise ASAP. And if you're a woman, memorize this while you're at it. Behind a many successful woman is somebody who pissed her off. You must wisely channel your anger to forge toward what you want. Yes, you must wisely channel your anger to forge forward to get what you want. Reminding yourself that success will be the best revenge on all those not rooting for you. With this in mind, keep in mind, it helps to write a list of those non-rooters, people who have angered you, and keep this non-rooter list nearby, knowing hate prevents late. This non-rooter list can rile you to action, reminding you how your non-rooters would want you to procrastinate and not get what you want. And so you must stop procrastinating and get what you want. So to give a big nya-nya to your non-rooters. Life lesson number 38. You need to enliven your life with more pride. You must consciously decide now to banish that whiny self-critical voice within and show yourself some self-respect by listening to your self-loving self instead. You must consciously remember to remind yourself about all the good you've brought into your life, like this book. Yes, clever little you bought this book to lucky little you, a peppy, cheery, self-love promoting book that reminds you to focus on and enjoy all the good you have and not see blurry-eyed on what you don't have, because what you see is what you get. So if you see good in your life, you will get good. Damn, I'm good. Damn, I'm good. You must consciously decide now to maintain an attitude of gratitude 24/7, morning, noon, and night. You must consciously decide to compliment yourself internally after every positive step forward. You must consciously decide now to memorize the mantra, damn, I'm good, damn, I'm good, damn, I'm good, and use this mantra often in the future. And when it comes to your past, a good way to remind yourself of how far you've come is to surround yourself with all you've accomplished. So, put out all those photos that capture your moments of past glory, or keep in eyesight those awards you've received. Heck, start putting gold stars on your calendar on days that you've accomplished something big. Then decide that in upcoming years you'll celebrate these days as personal self-holidays, along with birthdays and anniversaries. Life lesson number 39. You need to enliven your life with more sloth. Bed does not equal bad, and bed equals time to relax, think, and rejuvenate. And jumping into bed isn't just about passion, but self-compassion, especially when you jump in bed with a big, hard, long book and read. I've always been a big reader, by the way. I read a lot of stuff online. I don't read a lot of books lately, but I read a ton of articles. So decide now to go out and buy yourself some new throw pillows, fancy ones with ruffles made of velvet and filled with fluffy feathers. Then nestle your weary neck upon some of them and give your weary feet upon them a rest, and give your brain a rest. Let the dishes soak in the sink. Sleep an extra half hour in the morning. Schedule cozy and comfy times with someone you love. Remember, you're called a human being, not a human doing. You don't always have to be doing. In fact, doing too much is often a way of doing too little of what you actually have to really do. Which brings you to life lesson 40. We're getting there, people. So this is going to take like an hour. Bless all of you that have stayed this long, but I think this is really good advice that, everyone should follow. By the way, don't follow my shirt. My shirt was originally funny. Once upon a time, fuck you, the end. I think I bought this partially because I was so unhappy in my relationship. I wanted a fairy tale, and all I got was fuck you and the end. And also just because it's cutting off a story, it's cutting it short. It's funny for a bunch of reasons. But yeah, it's the anti-fairy tale, but it's because I was not living in a fucking fairy tale. I wasn't getting what I wanted. I want a fucking, I don't want a fairy, I'm realistic, but I do. I want that for myself. I do. I'm 38, god damn it. I've waited a long time to be in the type of relationship that I want to be in. And I will be patient until that manifests itself fully. Life lesson 40. You need to enliven your life with more envy. Perk up and pay attention to what makes you feel envious. Then use this feeling to propel you to get this thing. Knowing if someone else got it, then yeah, that means it's possible to get. Jenna got her Julian, right? You settle for less now because you don't settle for less than your envy invites you to drool over. You must follow your drool, which is a grosser way of saying what Joseph Campbell once said, which is follow your bliss, like this doggy. And if you're following your bliss into an article in some magazine and you find somehow yourself reading about someone who snagged up your drool-worthy life, don't read it and weep. Read it and reap. Clip this article and keep it nearby to keep you self-honest about what you want for yourself, and empowered and inspired and motivated to get this drool-worthy bliss life for yourself too. So like a dream board, an inspiration board. Which brings you to life lesson number 41. You need to enliven your life with more gluttony. You must decide right now to be hyper-aware of every gluttony nuanced bite that greets your taste bud-laden tongue. You know, when you eat more slowly, you need to eat less often. You know, you must never eat when upset or distracted, because then you won't get the full gluttonous rewards of your food. Savor every moment. And when you've stopped feeling that everything that tastes good is bad, you'll start to appreciate it more. Mangoes, cherries, portobello mushrooms, and oysters on the half shell. Oh, I love oysters. These are all treats with the trick of being good for you. And when it comes to gluttony, it's not just what you eat, it's where you eat it. Indulge thyself while in bed. Eat that Chinese food directly from the container while watching Sex and the City. And on occasion, hell, don't share your dessert. You can be too thin, so go eat something too rich. Yes, it's okay to pig out on occasion. And it's not just when it comes to eating. You should pig out on traveling, reading, movie watching, sailing, antiquing, whatever your indulgence. Indulge! Remember, the only thing in moderation should be your mother. That's not nice. Don't say that about mommy. Sorry, Mom, but there you have it. That's funny. Life lesson number 42. Wow, so much to enliven your life with. So little time to enliven it up in. It is up to you to use your time well. It's up to you to decide right now you will be a pleasure-directed person, not a pain-directed person. Life's a beach. Pleasure-directed people lead their lives by being motivated to move towards pleasure rather than running from pain. Pleasure-directed people are inspired by what interests them, enthuses them, inspires them. Pleasure-directed people are less likely to be controlling, vindictive, snooty, and competitive because they're happier, more balanced, more centered, and thereby they attract more positive circumstances and more positive, loving people too. And so when you think about this, you realize, clunk, it's way better to lead a pleasure-directed life for you and everyone else around you. And it's way better for you and everyone else around you to allow yourself to enjoy this pleasure-directed life that you direct your way. Everyone benefits from your happiness. Although, you especially benefit from your happiness if you let yourself. And you must let yourself. You must know and appreciate that your life doesn't have to be entertaining in order to be pleasurable, enjoyable, and interesting. You can have your life be interesting, pleasurable, and enjoyable. You can have your life be interesting, pleasurable, and enjoyable, and your life can still be very interesting, pleasurable, and enjoyable, without the pain. Which, it's, at the end of the day, it's all up to you. Almost at the end. Life lesson number 44. You and you alone are in charge of creating that movie for one called your life. You and you alone are not only your own life writer, but life casting agent, director, producer, caterer, everything getter. If you don't like your life movie, if you feel like it's too much entertainment and it's not enough entertainment, then it's up to you and you alone to close down the movie set and recast and reshoot, and to not waste another day shooting scenes that would be better off on the editing room floor. You must decide enough with the entertainment already. It's very okay to give yourself a happy ending. And may you live happily ever after. Oh my God, this is crazy. So that's been this book. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm glad to have shared this moment with you. My name is Davison. I'm at Davison Video on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook. And I love you all, love to you all. And may we all live in the positive, pleasurable present. Bye-bye.